So today we'll be just making the review of this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now this phone has been with me since launch, and it's been almost 90 days that I'm just using this phone. And it's been now around like 90 days that I've been using this phone, and I would like to mention few things that I like and I don't like about this phone itself. Now I wouldn't go into the depth of the specs of these phones like that. You guys can go ahead and just read it from anywhere, and there are like lots of videos about those ones. But rather I would just like to discuss about like the main things. Like obviously it has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite newer chip, which is the flagship chip from the Qualcomm, and that's for the Galaxy. That's like kind of an overclock version of the Snapdragon 8 Elite, and then it is just bundled up with the 12 gigs of RAM. Now before we were expecting to get the 16 GB of RAM on this phone, and we were looking for the significant camera bump on this phone, but nevertheless the camera setup has been kept almost the same as the S24 Ultra. If you're just using these phones like side by side, so it will be pretty much hard to just notice the difference between these both phones, like the S24 Ultra and the S25 Ultra. Now I've been using this phone around like for 3 months, and it has been my primary device that I've been using this one. No other phone it is great software wise. So if we talk about the design wise, so this phone is like pretty durable. Like it has the titanium frame over here. You can see the volume up and down. You get the power button, and then you have the antenna bands on the top and the bottom. If we talk about the top, so we get the noise cancelling mics. It looks like a lanyard port but yeah, it is a what you call the noise cancelling mics, and you get the antenna band over here. On the left is absolutely clean look you can get on this phone. There's absolutely nothing, just one antenna band, which is kind of a great thing, I would just say. Samsung had an opportunity to add something over here, like maybe a action button that would just help to just map any app from that one, but nevertheless it is a pretty clean and decent and slick look on this phone. On the bottom, if we come, so we get the two antenna bands, we get the SIM card tray, no SD card slot, we get one additional mic, we get the Type-C charging port, we get the speaker, and we have one S Pen over here. So there were like controversies about the S Pen like once it's been launched, and like the Samsung has removed the Bluetooth capability from this one, and I can vouch on that. Like I never ever used, like I've kept on like almost a lot of S25, like I have just kept a lot of S Ultra phones from Samsung, and I never used that one, the Bluetooth feature, except once or twice. Nevertheless, like if you're the person who is just using this feature, so S24 Ultra would be the best option that you would want to go. But nevertheless, I don't miss that feature at all because I never used that one. So yeah, so Samsung just removed because of the factor that they, according to the research, like they believe like only 1% of the people who uses this Bluetooth functionality on the S Pen itself. So yeah, that could be the reason yeah, they have removed this one. And if you're the person, like I know like lots of companies are now just cost cutting by saying like removing the charger and everything, being started from the Apple side, and now it has been followed by all of the companies almost, like Samsung. So yeah, so those are like a cost cutting corners they are doing on the phones itself. Now like if I hold this device in a hand, so this one feels pretty much premium. You get a triple camera setup over here, which is like a flagship. I have nothing to complain regarding this camera. There are some improvements that are being needed, like in the night shots specifically. Like I need like for the night shots, this main camera lens just struggles to focus on the object itself. And then obviously other than that, the cameras has been great. The rings on the camera, before I was just expecting like there will be a dust magnet down there. It's not that much like a dust accumulating on the back of on the sides of the camera lenses. I'm not sure why Samsung has given a gap over here, but we saw in the JRig like these ones are like looks like kind of aftermarket lenses on the phone itself. Like these can be removed. Now one thing that Samsung have done this one is to protect the lenses, which is like on the side, like if you take it positively. So if you're glass get scratched on the, or you can say if your lens get scratched of the camera. So these are like easily replaceable, rather than you have to just dig into the device itself to just or you can just say like you have to open the device fully to just get the camera lenses to be replaced. So this kind of a good thing in terms of the repairability of the phone itself. If you're just keeping the phone in the long run and you get a lens scratch, so that will be just helpful. So device is very light, I would just say, while holding in the hands. There's nothing to complain. It feels very premium, and I can vouch on that. It's pretty much lighter in terms of the weight than if we compare with the S24 Ultra. Lots of improvements and weight reductions have been done on this phone by the Samsung. This one is like pretty easy to hold in the hand, if you say. A little bit slippery if you're just using without case, but nevertheless it is a great device while you're just holding in the hand, and it doesn't feel like a big phone while you're just holding in the hand. And Samsung this time has just made the screen almost borderless on this phone, and the resolution of the screen itself has been great, nothing to complain. The software now I would like to talk about now. So software on this phone has been so much great. Like the One UI 7 is like the most refined experience you can get on the phone to date, I would just say, in terms of like if you're just considering any Android devices. I know like there has been like a lot of Chinese makers who are just focusing on the camera itself, like they are making like great cameras. They might be better than the S25 Ultra as well, and they are, I know, like there are like a couple of 1-inch sensors you can expect from Vivo. And now the thing is that like the software experience, like obviously this device, like if I would want to just term it, is a very well balanced device, like in terms of every aspect, like the battery life, like the camera, like the software itself, the screen itself. Now the software has been great on this phone. Like this is like the one of the best experience you can get regarding the multitasking. The multitasking on this phone is great, like as all other phones. You can just do a split screen, you can do just a pop-up window, you can just do like absolutely anything you want to do. So like in the split screen you can just make this one smaller or big, like each of the apps. You can just save it as a home screen, apps edge panel, and then you might want to just swap the apps in between. You can further open like pop-up windows, and like this kind of a great thing about this phone, like it enhances the usability of the phone itself. And now there are very many options as well on this phone as well, like the battery optimization. I really like the battery optimization on this phone. Like if you go into the battery protection, so you have like the basic, which is like kind of when your battery is charged to 100%, charging will stop until your battery like will drop to 95%, and then again it just starts charging, rather than just keeping the phone on the trickle charge overnight if you're just specifically like charging your phone. Then there's adaptive, then there's maximum to 80% you can set. Like your phone will stop charging when it's just reaches to the 80%. I use this adaptive one, so it just learns your usage pattern, and it will just help to charge your battery, and it also just helps to conserve the battery itself as well once you're just using the phone. Now the battery option has been pretty much great on this phone, like the way Samsung has laid out the One UI 7. One drawback that I've noticing like on most of the forums, like the screen on the S25 Ultra, like the oleophobic coating is just getting ruined after 3 months with a minimal usage, I would just say. So that's kind of a thing that I would just wanted to mention you guys. If you're just considering the device and you're just planning to use it without the screen protector, like I always use the screen protector with my phones. I know the anti-reflective coating is being ruined because of that, and that's kind of a let go thing. But we noticed like the Samsung have mentioned while launching the S25 Ultra that they have used a new coating, anti-reflective coating, and like it is an enhanced version from the S24 Ultra. Now it's been down the line just around 3 months, and people are now noticing like the oleophobic coating is getting vanished from their screen slightly, which is kind of a bummer. Now I would like to mention like what is like if you're the person who doesn't know what the oleophobic coating is. So oleophobic coating is basically, it helps to just retain, it helps to just diminish the fingerprint magnet on the phone screen itself. It is kind of a water repellent, you would say. The water doesn't sticks on the screen itself, and obviously it just warms out like over time if you're using the phone too much. And you can get a screen protectors with the oleophobic coating, or just get the anti-reflective screen protector by Samsung that you can use with this phone itself. But yeah, if you're just the person who just want to use the phone like as is, so obviously that kind of disappoint me, because this shouldn't be happening in the first place, because it's so much expensive device that these are the things like I'm not sure, like the companies are not focusing or customer focus, and they're just letting the device roll out each year and not focusing on these points, and quality control. I would say kind of a bummer. And the same thing was happened with the S24 Ultra as well. Like at the end of its life, around like after 1 year, many people started to complain about the oleophobic coating that is being vanished, and or you can say just warning out, and the screens are having a micro scratches. Every year cell phone companies just launch their products and they say like this product is better than the previous one, and then once you start using the phone itself, so you actually feel like it's not that much better than the previous device which was being launched. So in that regard, I would just say that's kind of a marketing gimmick. I would just say if you have like S24 Ultra, so you will be just better off with this with that phone as well, like completely. Even if you have the S23 Ultra, that will be better too. The battery life on the S25 Ultra has been great. Samsung has been using like a same battery, like a 5000 mAh since I think S23 Ultra, and since then they haven't improved the battery on this phone, which is I think is, I don't like it. Like Samsung should have used the silicon carbon battery like the OnePlus has done. So the OnePlus, you can feel like the device itself is pretty much thinner, and it has a 6000 mAh battery. So I'm not sure, we were pretty much expecting the S25 Ultra to get that battery, but yeah, we didn't got that one. So the battery life essentially being improved by just using the better chips. So chips are getting efficient each passing year, and by that the Samsung is just utilizing those things to just maximize the battery usage on the device itself. Now the battery life, obviously the battery life has been great on this one. You get the wireless charging, you get the reverse wireless charging on this phone as well. The wired charging has been great, yeah, but if you just compare with the other Chinese manufacturers, so this is obviously not at par with those. Like those are like having a lot of speed in terms of the charging, like 100 watts, and this one can support up to 45 watts, and there's no charger in the box itself. If you consider the OnePlus 13, so they're just throwing out like 100-watt chargers. I'm not sure like why those corners are being cut it off. Nevertheless, the device is pretty much great. Of this one, we know already like Samsung and Apple are not giving chargers anymore, so you have to just keep those things in consideration while just buying these kind of phones, flagship phones. Now one more thing I would like to talk about this device is like the speaker on this device has been excellent. I would just say these are like one of the best speakers right now you can just get in the market right now, and these are the things like which make these devices like stand out from like the Chinese makers. Like if I consider the S25 Ultra stereo speakers, so these are like better than the iPhone 16 Pro and the Pro Max. I've used those phones. The speakers on the iPhone 16 Pro are pretty much great as well. You get that depth, but the S25 Ultra is like quite balanced in terms of the depth, and the loudness that you can get is way more than the iPhone 16 Pros. And is the reason, like if you compare like the OnePlus 13 is pretty much cheaper device, but once you get to hear the speaker of the OnePlus 13, so OnePlus 13 like obviously doesn't have like a very good speaker. That's like kind of a very average speaker you can expect from like kind of a mid-range phone, not at all loud. And if you just compare side by side with the S25 Ultra, so S25 Ultra like shines in that part of the comparison. I personally like, if I consider the S25 Ultra, I'm using this one as my primary device. I don't have any sort of complaints regarding this phone. Battery life has been great. The chip is excellent on this phone. The One UI 7 has been great on this phone. The build wise, this phone has been pretty much great. unless you're just not using the screen protectors. Obviously that's naturally you will just get the micro scratches and those kind of issues will prevail on the screen itself. Rather, I would just recommend to just get the any other screen protector or anti-reflective coating for the phone itself. The fingerprint scanner on this phone has been seamless, pretty much great. Colors on the screen has been great. The performance of this device has been pretty much great. Nothing to complain regarding that one. Obviously, like once I know like the Samsung has included like a 40% increase vapor chamber, but it's still like this device like gets slightly hot once you're just using the phone playing games or if you're just rendering out the video. So the battery depletes pretty much faster and gets hotter once you're specifically just rendering the video on the phone itself. If you're just doing like pretty much a graphic intensive task on the phone itself. Now what does this translates to? Now this translates to like the chips are getting like better and better and better, but I'm not sure like whether we are able to make use of those all cores that are being thrown at these phones, except just making these devices to making more hot and hot. So like if the Samsung is going ahead next year with a more powerful chip, so we are not sure like whether we are just able to just make best use out of it, because the applications like the mobile phones, like I would just say like have the limitation like as to how good or how best you can make use out of those devices. This is not kind of a so much productive device. Like obviously it is getting there, but it's not that much productive device as like you can say laptop or like a PC. So yeah, so to put so much into the chips on these phones, yeah, I'm not sure if that's worth it, because you have to just, on the other hand, you have to focus on the factors. There might be a thermal throttling that might be happening on the phones itself when you just make the chips so much powerful. So you have to just keep those considerations as well, like making the device each year faster and faster. I'm not sure like that's exactly like worth it. Like even if you go ahead like a couple of years back, so the phones are pretty much great, like the S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra, S23 Ultra, those are like pretty much great. S22 Ultra has been a pretty much great device, but obviously the battery issue was there on the S22 Ultra, like the battery draining issue. So rather than just obviously the chips are getting efficient, I would just say the company should, I believe, make the chips much more efficient and makes the battery better. That would just enhance the experience of the user much more. Focus on the camera, like what they need, like most of the customers like they need better cameras that are like one of the best in the market. You need a better battery life, and then you can need to have, obviously the screens are pretty much better. I don't think so like what improvement can be done on this screen except the if they can improve the hardness on the phone itself. And there has to be like enough a balance of power in the chip itself, like that just maintains best of both worlds, like the power efficiency and the powerfulness that you can just use to just launch any app. I think in the past couple of years, as I already mentioned, any of the phone, if you just pick up, so you can just use that phone, and that would be just great in terms of like launching any of like a flagship games or anything, I would just say. So yeah, now the question arises, like if you're just wondering like if you want to just get this device in 2025, and if you're just coming from the S24 Ultra, so would you consider, so like if I would be having like a S24 Ultra, I would just never ever go ahead and just get the S25 Ultra. But yeah, if you're just a person who just want like a best of the best, so like obviously you just go ahead and just get this device. Obviously the additional power would just adds up to that, but these devices are pretty much expensive, I would just say. So like upgrading each year doesn't make sense, because you're not just getting all that improvements as how much you're just as if you compare like how much you're paying for the device itself. So these devices are meant to be used like for a couple of years, like the Samsung has promised like 7 years of upgrade on the S25 Ultra. So if you're just getting the S25 Ultra, so I know no one will be just keeping the S25 Ultra for so long, but yeah, nevertheless Samsung would be supporting the Android 22 around, you can say. Even if you have like the S23 Ultra, so that's kind of a great device. I think someone who's just using the S22 Ultra might want to just upgrade to this device itself, would make much more sense, that they will feel like, yeah, there has been some improvements. The design, obviously, like it is great on this phone. It is very much different than the previous iterations. The Samsung is now moving towards the slightly rounded corners, which just enhances the holdability of the device in the hands. Other than that, yeah, obviously I don't think so, like unless you compare side by side. So there has been like much more improvement on the phone itself. The ultra wide lens has been improved on this phone. So yeah, if you're just considering that one, so yeah, obviously this one like kind of a best of the best you can get in the market right now. But I'm just saying, like in case, like if you're just considering from S24 Ultra to S25 Ultra, so that doesn't make that much sense to like upgrade the device itself. So yeah, do let me know if you guys would just consider this device. And please like, share and subscribe. And thank you for watching again. Have a good day. Bye.